I want to start off by telling you a story, the story of I-Pencil. Now this is actually an abridged version told in the third person. This is a tale told originally by Leonard Read from the Foundation for Economic Education in 1958. And this is simply about your common household pencil. Pick it up and look it over. What do you see? Not much meets the eye. There's some wood, some lacquer, the printed labeling, graphite lead, a bit of metal, and an eraser. While the pencil is such a simple thing, I claim to you today that no one in this class can make one. In fact, not one person in the whole world can make one. You're skeptical? Let me try to prove it to you. The pencil begins with a tree, a cedar of straight grain that grows in Northern California and Oregon. Now contemplate all the saws and the trucks and the rope and the countless other gear used in harvesting and carting the cedar logs to the railroad siding. Think of all the persons and the numberless skills that went into their fabrication. The mining of ore, the making of steel and its refinement, into saws, axes, motors, the growing of hemp and bringing it through all the stages to heavy and strong rope, the logging camps with their beds, mess halls, the cookery, and the raising of all the foods, why untold thousands of persons had a hand in every cup of coffee the loggers drank. The logs are shipped to a mill in San Leandro, California. Can you imagine the individuals who make flat cars and rails and railroad engines and who construct and install the communication systems incidental thereto? These legions are all a part in making a pencil. Consider the millwork in San Leandro. The cedar logs are cut into small pencil-length slats, less than 1/4 of an inch in thickness. These are kiln-dried and then tinted for the same reason women put rouge on their faces. People prefer that I look pretty, says the pencil, not a pallid white. These slats are waxed and kiln-dried again. How many skills went into the making of the tint in the kilns, into supplying the heat, the light, and the power, the belts, the motors, and all the other things a mill requires. Sweepers in the mill had a part in making this pencil. Yes, indeed they did. And included are the men who poured the concrete for the dam of Pacific Gas and Electric Company, hydro plant which supplies the mill's power. Don't overlook the people present and distant who have had a hand in transporting 60 carloads of slats across the nation. Once in the pencil factory, there's $4 million worth of machinery and equipment. The lead itself, well actually it contains no lead at all, is complex. The graphite is mined in Ceylon. The graphite is mixed with clay from Mississippi in which ammonium hydroxide is used in the refining process. The cedar receives 6 coats of lacquer. Do you know all the ingredients of lacquer? I don't. Observe the labeling. That's a film formed by applying heat to carbon black mixed with resins. How do you make resins and what is carbon black? My bit of metal, says the pencil, the ferrule is brass. Think of all the persons who mine zinc and copper and those who have the skills to make shiny sheet brass from these products of nature. Then there's the eraser. An ingredient called factice is what does the erasing. It's a rubber-like product made by reacting rapeseed oil from the Dutch East Indies with sulfur chloride. Does anyone wish to challenge my earlier assertion that no single person on the face of the earth knows how to make a pencil? Actually, millions of human beings have had a hand in its creation. Most of these people don't even know each other. There isn't a single person in all of these millions, including the president of the pencil company, who contributes more than a tiny infinitesimal bit of know-how. Neither the miner nor the logger can be dispensed with. Each one wants a pencil less than a child in the first grade. Indeed, there are some among this vast multitude who never saw a pencil, nor would they know how to use one. They are not even making the pencil for themselves. There is a fact still more astounding, the absence of a mastermind, of anyone dictating or forcibly directing these countless actions which bring it into being. No trace of such a person can be found. Instead, we find the invisible hand at work. If you can become aware of the miraculousness which the pencil symbolizes, you can help save the freedom mankind is so unhappily losing. For if you are aware that these know-hows will naturally, yes, automatically arrange themselves into creative and productive patterns in response to human necessity, and demand, in the absence of governmental or any other coercial mastermind, then one will possess an absolutely essential ingredient for freedom, a faith in free people. Freedom is impossible without this faith. Everything we see in this room, everything from the most basic plastic cup to this complicated computer to this television, was made in the same way. Millions of people all over the world, layers upon layers of individuals, all got up in the morning in their respective countries, speaking different languages, praying to different gods, engaging in different kinds of culture, all got up and acted in their own self-interest to simply pay the bills, to simply put food on the table, take care of their family, and yet everything they did somehow contributed to some product somewhere else. And yet, there was not one person directing them all to get up in the morning, drink your coffee, eat your breakfast, and go to work. They all did it individually and separately without knowing most of them involved. This is economics.